Nick Nurse was on Pat Bev's podcast. And they asked him a bunch of questions. We mentioned that, he took less to come to Philadelphia to coach. But they asked him about Embiid, and he first said that he wants him swatting more shots than ever. But offensively, he said, quote, "You're going to see him doing a little bit of everything, to bring it up the floor, to running screen and rolls, DHOs, down screens, cross screens, back screens, whatever they're going to have to defend, everything with him." Eric, I see a lot of people wondering why we haven't been using Embiid the way Nick Nurse described. Why do you think that is, that we haven't used him in the way that Nick Nurse is describing here? And are you encouraged to hear him say that this is what he wants to do with Embiid this year?
I think that's what Joel wanted to do.
Probably not.
I mean, that's a lot, man. Like, I don't know if his conditioning is like that. You saying you want him to be the best shot blocking defender, then you're gonna give him that load on offense too, where he's doing everything like that? Okay, I look forward to it, but like I'm a realist about it. I mean, I think there's different ways of getting him the ball, but at the end of the day, all that stuff we're talking about is getting him the ball on the block, the elbow, for ISO, post up, pick and roll. Like, you still ending up in the same situation no matter whatever set you run. So some people just cut out all the fancy stuff and just give him the ball. Depends on how you look at it. Do you want to cross screen, down screen, back screen to just give him the ball at the elbow? Or do you just have him set a screen or just post up at the elbow and throw him the ball? Like, it's just, you're doing all of that to do the same thing, if you understand what I'm saying. It's not like they're drawing up this play where you got an elevator play and misdirection and he's coming through and he's catching off screens, and it's not Steph Curry where you can have a little more action. It's different. So it sounds good. I just know that they all end up the same way. So I believe if his conditioning is top notch and all of that different misdirection, all the action can be helpful, I'm just saying I don't think he can maintain that at the level that you just said. But I think he can still be dominant defensively, and he can be dominant offensively. I'm just not sure how it looks as far as how much action and misdirection and down screen, up screens. Is he starting out high? Is he gonna stay low? Is he running from high to low? Is he going coming from low to high? Like, all of this running and cross screens, and like, I just don't know if you can do all of that on a guy of his size, and then ask him to run back and be the best presence at the rim, where it's a perimeter game right now, and then come up and guard and defend it on the pick and roll action. Hopefully he can.
He mentioned in the interview, he talked about how, like, the way they used Marc Gasol was a way that he hadn't been used a lot in the past, and they kind of fell upon that by accident. They put him at the high post, and he was just finding people on back cuts, and dishing him the ball. And this goes back to what made
Marc Gasol also wasn't asked to score 30 points a game.
Totally. No, I agree. I think this kind of goes back to.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying is the difference is the offensive load. You're asking that guy to do all of that. Now you're asking him to score, pass. Like, yeah, the Joker does it, but the Joker's not blocking a lot of shots on the other end. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying about doing both.
Yeah, I think setting up an offense, taking it up is a little too much to ask. I think that's ambitious. But like a high, getting at the high post and running a back screen with Tobias to try to get easy looks off of a pass, that wouldn't expend that much more energy.
That's different. I think him receiving this screen, I believe that's something that you can go to. But I believe that should be more matchup driven than just doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, throwing in those different wrinkles, I'm cool with that. I'm not against it. I don't necessarily see why you need it for a guy as talented as him. I remember Dirk them, made that, really big with, guards defending him. But Dirk was also primarily a jump shooter. So they were really doing it to get the switch. So he could just raise up over the smaller guy.
Yep.
So that's all that was, to make you make a mistake or make you make a decision on a switch. But as I said before, you're trying to get a post up, ISO, or some form of pick and roll to get a switch and get a mismatch. That's what it's for. So it doesn't really matter whatever action you get. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's just different ways to get to the same place.
If you want him to be all over rim protecting, and I know he said that his defense is very all about a lot of activity from your guards, very aggressive guard play on defense to funnel the ball and the ball handler to the paint, where Embiid's always going to be there blocking shots. What do you say? That's what he wants. And that's going to be a lot more defensive effort from Embiid, a lot more energy expel on defense. I guess I just took it as he's just trying to find maybe easier ways to get scoring using the amount of attention Embiid gets without expending as much maybe offensive energy to get those points.
If you want that, what you just said, go on the block.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get double and get easier opportunities for people, is to put you down on that block, because no one should be able to guard you one-on-one consistently, and you continue to put them in the basket and score until they double and you kick out and swing, get shots.
Yeah. He talked about that too.
But no one wants to play that way. They don't want to play that way. I don't think the coaches want to play that way, and I don't think the players want to play that way. But if you're saying open up and free up opportunities for people, the number one way to free up opportunities for people is to dominate the paint. With the ball, you get the ball in the paint, you create doubles, you shrink the defense, you kick out. That's why when people are practicing shots, most of the time those shots are coming from the middle when people are throwing them passes. That's why they call them practice shots. You're able to attack the middle and drive and kick the ball out. Same thing from a guard perspective. If point guard is getting in the paint and he's breaking down the defense, guys have to help. Your help messes up. It opens up shots. It opens up offense for rebounding opportunities. Well, that's what post-ups do. It's the same thing, except that they don't have to start on the perimeter to break the defense down. They start on the block. That's why they did that. So I'm saying, if you want him to be this guy that can distribute and dominate, that's the place to start. So all that other stuff is cute. But if you want him to put people in the basket, let's start there. I guarantee you they can't guard him, and they're going to have to double him off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get whatever you want.
And he talked about that too. Yeah.
I just don't understand why. Like, it's not, to me, it's not difficult to what you should at least try to start doing. Teams should come in and be like, a guy coming in and be like, man, I got to guard this dude, man. Y'all better help, man. On the pass, y'all better be double, man. I can't guard this dude one-on-one. Like, that's how it should be. Every game.
Yep.
We played Miami, and I love Bam, but Bam, he should be like, man, y'all gonna have to double. He can't guard me one-on-one. He's too small. But we don't go into playing Miami, and do we ever go in saying that or feeling that way? That Bam's too small to guard him?
Mm-mm.
Come on, man.
Well, against Miami, we were getting the ball over half court and setting up our offense with like 12 seconds left on the clock. And at that point, our offense was just thrown off, and it was a lot of ISO play, and we didn't really get a chance to do that stuff. And I noticed Miami was throwing a lot of bodies at him all over the court, making it hard for him to even get to the paint at some point. So by the time he got to the paint, got the ball, he was already exhausted half the time.
So why do you think they're doing that?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the first thing we said when I said, if his conditioning is at that level,
yep,
to be able to do all that.
And we talked about how Nurse likes trying things. He talked about it again on the show or in the podcast. I think part of it is, I think he just wants to try all this crap, throw shit at the wall, see what sticks, see what doesn't. Like he said, and put it in your back, put it in your holster for the playoffs. We know we can try this if they stop that part of our offense. We know we can do this if they stop that part of our offense. So I think it goes all hand in hand in that. And I like hearing that. I don't like a guy having a firm offense. It's this or we're screwed. I like someone who can, make changes on the fly and know what else can work with this team.
Yeah, we got to get some wins on the way while all this experiment is going on too.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Because I expect us to at least be in Vegas or the quarterfinals based on our in-season tournament schedule. We should be in there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I will say, as far as when you hear stuff like this, Eric, we talk about his conditioning being a problem, or in general.
I didn't say it's a problem. Don't put words in my mouth.
I knew you were going to agree with that one. A potential problem.
I said his condition. He hasn't shown his conditioning to be at that level.
At that level,
all the things that he's speaking about.
Right.
Looks pretty trim this.
I'm saying your conditioning got to be at a certain level to be able to do all of that.
Do you think when you hear this though? Do you think, and obviously we know with Nurse's history with with Kawhi not playing back-to-backs during that Toronto run, do you think this might mean this could be a potential where he's saying like, oh, okay, we're going to ask him to do all these things, but he's maybe not going to play as many back-to-backs, or we're going to sit him more? Could you see that as well?
I can see Joel playing, 67 games? The minimum to get all your awards?
67, yeah, 67 or 66.
Whatever it is. I think most of those guys, that's what they're going to play. They put it in there for a reason. That's what they're going to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then when half the league's doing that, they're going to raise that number to 70.
Whatever it is, that's what they're going to do, man.
Yeah.
And Joel does look a lot like firmer and leaner. This
it looks trim.
Yeah. Someone said online it was because his wedding. He was trying to get fit for his wedding, but now since the wedding's now done, he's still looking nice and lean.
No, it's probably because he met with Nurse, and Nurse told him all the plans he has for him. He's like, I need you to defend the paint, take the ball up, you're gonna post up, you're gonna run the offense. And he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna hit the treadmill for about 2 hours. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I mean, nonetheless, I like the optimism that Nurse has right now. Wanting to try all these things, with Embiid. I mean, hey, at least a fantasy basketball. I think Embiid, based on what Nurse is saying, I think Embiid's gonna be a top 2 pick of fantasy basketball coming up.
I would work a lot on because in crucial moments when Boston started doubling him a lot, he was starting to kind of crap his pants a little bit, throw those balls away. Whatever you got to do to make him fully prepared for double teams in the playoffs, do that. Because that's what's going to happen in the playoffs in crunch time.
Man, that's the thing about it. Like, no one's going to double team him on the perimeter. Not many. They may double him late in the games, but unless he has it really, really going, like, teams aren't going to double him like that. Why? Mm-hmm. But in the playoffs, I will. I definitely will.
But they would on the block, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but they'll do it differently, though. Yes.
Yeah. So the more block play you have during the season, the more doubles you'll have during the season.
Yeah. And give him the similar looks, playoff looks, in practice. I mean, that was a big thing that Nurse said in his introductory press conference. He wanted to give him the looks that Embiid will be getting in the postseason in practice time.